What is happening, people? It is Brian, Alsruhe, neverstate.com, and no, I'm not on my way to blow something up. Be shocked at what people think when you have one of these on. Now, as you can probably tell from the background, I am back home in Maryland. My time in Colorado was absolutely amazing, and I actually have one more video coming out, so don't freak out about that yet. But if you guys are looking for more content from the entire trip, definitely check out Brian Shaw's page and Nick's channel, both in the description down below. Between the three of us, you'll see a lot of what we did on the trip. Now, this video is gonna be brought to you by my boy, Joey Szatmary, who's gonna talk to you guys all about conditioning. Not only conditioning in the traditional sense, but more specifically, conditioning as it goes for strength, sports, and especially strongman, which is gonna be super important for a lot of you because I know many of you have nationals as well as worlds coming up. Now, before you get any further in this video, make sure you click that link below and subscribe to Joey's channel. If you guys like my channel, you will like Joey. He's got a ton of instructional stuff. He also has a background with CrossFit, a background with Olympic weightlifting, and has done absolutely amazing things in both of those. He's getting ready for worlds. He just cleaned and pressed a 360-pound log at 240 pounds. He's also good friends with Alan Thrawn. He will be headed out to Sacramento when I go out there. We'll all be together. So definitely give his channel a check out. But first, grab a pen and some paper because he throws down some awesome knowledge. Coming at you with this conditioning video now. And thank you, Joey.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Coach Joe here at the Lion's Den. And first, I just want to say thank you to my man Brian for having me on this channel. If you guys didn't know, okay, Brian and I have been good friends. I'm friends with everybody at the Never State crew. We've run a strongman competition together, Lion's State Classic, which maybe you guys were here for, maybe you saw on YouTube. But him and I just clicked really well. We're both competitive strongman athletes, and we're so the same in so many aspects and a little bit different. So that's why I think there's a ton of things you can get from his channel and differences on my channel, but together we really have a lot of good information. So I just want to say thanks for having me on. So pretty much what I want to cover today is conditioning, more for a strength sport athlete, specifically I would say more into the strongman realm, just because that's what I compete in. So I'm going to go over how I condition or how I program for conditioning, and maybe you guys can take some tips and tricks for this and implement it into your program. Brian, if you guys watch any of his stuff, separates himself from other athletes because of how conditioned he is, as well as his strength. So if you have equal guys, right, who are very strong, but one is more conditioned than the other, depending on the competition, I would say the guy who's going to be more conditioned is going to end up winning. So this is something that you want to make sure you're integrating into your training as much as possible, that works for your training or any upcoming competition. It's going to make you just an even better athlete. So there's some things that I want to cover and go into, and then, like I said, you guys can use this for your training or your program. Take some ideas, mix and match some things, but this is kind of how I go about my conditioning for routines based on the goals I have on the board. All right, so the key points for this whole video, okay? We're gonna go over the main focus, and the main focus is that we wanna keep our strength gains while still doing conditioning. I see too many people doing so much conditioning that's affecting their strength, and that's not what we wanna do, especially in the sport of strongman or even powerlifting. We want to increase our performance, okay, in our training and our aerobic capacity if you're doing a competition. And also the last one I would say is just burning fat or shredding up a little bit. This may put you in a caloric deficit, which would be good long term because you're going to be burning more calories than you're intaking. So by the way that we're going to do this is keeping things low impact, okay? So using either your body weight, light resistance, or some odd objects and implements that I'll talk about. And then we don't want to mess up the training day. So we don't want to grind ourselves so hard that when we come in for our next training session, our strength isn't there because of our conditioning. So there's a way that I'll lay this out for you that it doesn't happen. Then how I set up for 3 to 4 times per week of conditioning. Typically, I'm always at the 3 mark. Now, last week I did 4 just because I was feeling really good, and that was more of some slow, steady state, which I'll get over, but that's gonna be optional. So the window you really wanna hit is gonna be 3, and that'll be what you're gonna notice is gonna make a difference in your training. And I'm also gonna cover different options and methods for each day that you're doing it. So it keeps it fresh, keeps it new. You're not doing the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna give you guys some options for that as well. And then the last thing we're gonna do is just come up with a 1-month conditioning block that you can have in your training. You can test it out, see if it works for your performance, custom tailor to your programming or whatever you're trying to do, and hopefully it will work for you guys. All right, so here's a little template that I use which helps keep my conditioning days organized, the types of conditionings and modalities that I'll use, and I'll explain each one as we talk about it. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see the whiteboard, so I'll put together some charts for you guys and I'll tag them at the end of this video so it's easily plug and play for you. Okay, so we have days 1 through 4. Now, on day 1, we're gonna do short and intense. Okay, so what I mean by that is we want to hit up things like Tabatas and every minute on the minute. If you don't know what a Tabata is, typically it's 20 seconds of work followed up by 10 seconds of rest for 8 rounds per movement, and we'll get to the movements that we can put in there once we get to the next part. Now, every minute on the minute simply means you have a time limit, say it's 10 minutes, and for every minute you have a certain movement and you have 60 seconds to complete it. Once that movement is done in the 60 seconds, say it takes you 25 seconds, you have the remainder of that minute to rest until minute 2 will start, and then you have to complete that movement again. So the faster you work, the more rest you have in the minute. It's the best of both worlds. So you can either go a little bit slower, have less rest, but your pace is slower, or go really fast. Now for this case, I always want you guys going fast and hard, but that's every minute on the minute. For day 2, we're gonna have an AMRAP style of conditioning, so as many rounds or reps as possible. And then the other one we can choose from is gonna be work to rest ratio. So maybe like 2 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest for 3 or 4 rounds. That's what I mean by work to rest ratio. On day 3, we have long, slow cardio, okay? So, and then we also have short and intense as the option, so you can plug and play with it either if you want more long, slow cardio, or you want to do some more short and intense. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. You can rotate back and forth through them. And then day 4 is going to be optional long, slow cardio for that entire block for every day. Okay, so there's not many options there, but that's what I put on the optional day, is just the long, slow cardio. Now for each day, they're flipping back and forth. Okay, so on week 1, you're going to do day 1 Tabata, then week 1, day 1 on week 2. You're gonna do every minute on the minute, and they're gonna flip-flop back and forth. Same thing for day 2, you're gonna go back and forth between the AMRAP and then the rest to work ratio. And then on day 3, you're gonna do long, slow cardio, complemented with some sort of short and intense back and forth. Now I did for day 3, I have long, slow cardio, then a Tabata, then long, slow cardio, then every minute on the minute, just to mix it up a little bit. And then day 4, like I said, always for every week is gonna be the long, slow cardio. All right guys, so this is gonna be the month's layout for day 1, weeks 1 through 4. Now we're going back and forth between Tabatas and every minute on the minutes, because this is gonna be the short and intense day. So for week 1, we're gonna do Tabata, and we're gonna do battle rope variation. Okay, so if you guys have battle ropes, you whip them out, any variation is fine. And then you're gonna do body weight squats going back and forth. So you do 4 rounds of each for that Tabata. So you'll do battle ropes, rest, then you're gonna do body weight squats back and forth. Then you're gonna do another Tabata of just regular typical burpees. So chest to the ground, jump up. Then you're gonna rest, and you're gonna move on to flutter kicks for abs. So this is a good time to get your core work in as well. And then the last one's gonna be mountain climbers, and then you're just gonna do kettlebell swings. So each one of these is 4 minutes. You can rest about a minute or 2 between your Tabatas. So you have a total of 12 minutes of work, and then whatever rest time you put in there. Now in week 2, we have every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. So we're gonna break this up by even and odd minutes. So on the even minutes, you'll do the same movements, and on the odd minutes, you'll do the same movements as well for those. So on the even, we're gonna do a sandbag walk for 100 feet. Now you want this to be medium intensity, okay? It's not gonna be something that's gonna destroy you for your training session or the next day, okay? So pick a weight and be smart about it. You should be able to stay on the minute. If you're not staying on the minute, it's too heavy, all right? Then on odd, we're gonna take that same bag and we're gonna go bag over shoulder for 5 reps, okay? So you're just gonna have as much time of rest that you have left over from completing it. So if it takes you 20 seconds to do the walk, you have 40 seconds of rest till the next movement. Now on week 3, we're gonna go back to our Tabata, and for that Tabata, we're gonna do burpee pull-ups on the 20 seconds, rest. Then the next movement is gonna be just regular jumping jacks, okay? Keeping the heart rate up. And then we have sit-ups, so any type of sit-ups, whether it's ab mat sit-ups, you could do weighted resistance sit-ups, some sort of sit-up variation. And then you're gonna do push-up variation on the opposite, okay? So this is very similar to the week 1, but just different movements. And then we're gonna do sledgehammers on top of a tire. If you have a tire, you'll use sledgehammers, rotating arms back and forth. And then you're gonna do box jumps on the opposite, okay? So another one, 12 minutes worth of work, staying short and intense. Rest as much as you need to, 1 to 2 minutes between your Tabata sets, and then get back to business. Now on week 4, we're gonna finish up with another every minute on the minute. This one's gonna be for 12 minutes. Now the difference here, instead of even and odd, we have 1, 2, and 3. So you'll go through each of these 4 times, okay? So you're gonna start off with a 100-foot sled push. So you're gonna run the sled down 100 feet, and then when you're done resting, the next move is gonna be a clean and press by 6. So depending on your competition, you can use a log bar, you can use an axle bar, you can use a regular barbell, you can do even a circus dumbbell if you wanted to, just any implement or variation to do a clean and press with. Then the last one we have is just a non-negotiable 30-second plank variation. So you have to work for 30 seconds, you have 30 seconds of rest. You could do a regular position plank, you could do a side plank, you could do a push-up position hold, whatever works for you. Once you're done that third round, you're gonna go right back to 1, 2, 3, and just keep cycling through that for 12 minutes. Okay guys, this is gonna be day 2, whole entire month. And on these days, we're doing AMRAPs and then that rest to work ratio. So for week 1, we're gonna do an 8-minute AMRAP, and on that day, we have a sled drag for 100 feet, we're gonna do a bear crawl for 100 feet, and then we're gonna do 100 jump ropes, as many rounds as possible in that 8 minutes. Then on week 2, okay, so the rest to work ratio is gonna be 2 minutes on and 1 minute off. So you're working for 2 minutes, then you're gonna rest a minute, and you're gonna do this for 5 total rounds. You're gonna go 3 stone to shoulder. If you don't have a stone, you can use a bag or a D-ball or something like that. Just throw it over your shoulder. We can also just change it up to whatever movement that you can with the equipment that you have. From there, you're gonna do 5 push-ups, okay? And then we have 7 toes to bar or leg raises if you can't do toes to bar. So you're gonna run through, you do 2 minutes, rest, then back to work, 5 rounds. On week 3, we have a 12-minute AMRAP, so it's gonna be a little bit longer than the first week. This is gonna be 50 rope slams. Then we have 1 front rack carry for 100 feet. We're gonna go 45-second plank variation, and then a farmer carry for 100 feet as well. So you rotate that as many times as you can in 12 minutes. Now week 4, okay, we're upping it a little bit too. We have 3 minutes on, but a minute and a half off. So your rest time's a little bit longer. You're gonna go through this for 4 rounds. So you're gonna do 12 calories on the rower, you have 9 push-ups, and then 6 box jumps. And you'll rotate through that, okay, do your work, then you guys can rest. Now any of these movements can be switched. Whoa, almost lost my expo there. But you can implement something that may be more specified to your competition coming up or your training. These are just templates for you guys to use and following the prescription of that low type of impact, okay? Mostly body weight, a little bit of external factors, but you guys are really gonna dig this. It's gonna be day 3, okay? So this is where we're kind of alternating through the long, slow cardio, or we're gonna do a Tabata. Maybe we'll do some more long, slow cardio, or every minute on the minute. This is gonna be custom tailored to you as an individual. If you need more of that long, slow, steady state cardio, you can throw that in there. If you want more of the Tabata, every minute on the minute, whatever, make it. So this is just a template. So on week 1, we're gonna do that long, slow cardio, and we're just gonna do a 30-minute ruck or walk on the treadmill, maybe add a vest to yourself if you're on the treadmill, put it on an incline, but we want your heart rate to be at a point where we can talk, but we can't sing, okay? So that's my principle there. And you wanna be developing a good sweat. Now in week 2, we're gonna move over to a Tabata. Now this time there's no back and forth, it's just one movement straight through all 8 rounds. You're gonna start off with a bag to shoulder, okay, or over the shoulder, or stone to shoulder, whatever you wanna do. Then you have battle rope variation. You can mix these up each round, that's fine, but you're gonna do 8 total rounds. And then we have a tire flip, okay? Now with the tire flip and the bag to shoulder, we don't wanna be killing ourselves, so something that's definitely gonna be light, you can focus on your technique and your speed with, but it's gonna get that heart rate up. Now in week 3, we're gonna just go through this for 4 rounds. This is more of that low, steady state cardio. And we're gonna do sled pull, okay, for 100 feet 2 times. We're gonna do a sled push, 100 feet 2 times, and then 25 burpees. Now the whole time you're doing this, you're just kind of working through it, okay, at a nice comfortable pace. On those burpees, you're not trying to fly through it. You're gonna go up, stand up, go back down. Even if it's literally stepping up and then stepping yourself back down, that's fine. Week 4, we have every minute on the minute, back to the even and odd. So on the even, we have 3 burpees, 6 push-ups, 9 squats. It must be completed in 60 seconds. And then on the odd, we have a farmer walk for 100 feet. All right, guys, so day 4 typically for me is just an optional day. This is a day where I like to get in those walks or those rucks or go for a hike or just maybe take my dog out. I used to play lacrosse, so I'll take the lacrosse stick out or throw around the football or something like that just to keep me moving and active. So if you guys want, just work on something like that, or maybe work on your weaknesses. If you have an event coming up, get in some light speed work or whatever, work on a lift, but you don't want to overdo it so that when you come in to the next week or the next training session, you're gonna be ready to go. Your strength isn't gonna be messed up or anything like that. So I just wanted to give you guys these ideas and kind of a template to use or gauge, and you can use any of these that you want, but you can also make some custom specifically to your programming. Now that's the hard part for me, is I don't know everybody's programming on what days you do what, so obviously just use some common sense and don't put in a heavy lower body conditioning day on the day that you just squatted maybe, or same thing with upper body and pressing or whatever. So just use your common sense. And also everybody may not be on the same level, so scale it back. If something's too long, shorten it a little bit. If the rounds are too high, just cut it back a little bit, and then that way you can have a process to grow and get better and better. But I think this is a good starting point for most of you guys. This is a nice template that you can use. You can take the same template after you're done using what I had prescribed for you, learn some things, change it up, do it your way, use it for your clients, whatever. I'm totally fine with that. But just kind of want to give you guys some value. It's free content, okay? I just give you a whole month free of just some conditioning tips and tricks. So play with it and do what you will. But I just want to say thank you so much, Brian, of course, for having me on your channel. It's always a pleasure. And him and I will be linking up in the future, doing some big things together. So really just am very grateful for him as a friend. You guys are in good hands from watching his channel. He's an awesome dude, very kick-ass, and does a lot for the strength sport community. So thank you so much, my man. We'll catch up soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Stay lean, mean, strength machines. Peace.